You said about more risky. Okay. There's two ways to look at this.
Right.
All right. What is the risk? The risk is consequence, yeah?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Alhamdulillah. So the consequence for us as believers is hellfire for those who don't believe, yeah?
Okay, you say that.
No, if we're right, there's hellfire.
Yeah.
All right. And for you...
The wrath of God, basically, yeah?
Right. Okay. And for you, if you're right, what's the consequence?
That I live my life however...
No. What's the consequence? What's the consequence? What's he after?
Oh, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Right. So if I'm right, you're going to face hellfire. And if you're right, there's nothing for me. So remind me again, what's risky?
Pascal's wager is a philosophical argument presented by the 17th century French mathematician, philosopher, physicist and theologian Blaise Pascal. It posits that human beings wager with their lives that God either exists or does not. It's a fallacious argument as it dilutes to a false presentation of probabilities. A true dichotomy doesn't imply 50-50 probabilities. God or not God might be 50-50, might be 30-70, or might be 1 to 1 trillion probabilities. Let me give you an example. If I take a wager with Hamza Miat whether the sun will rise up in the morning, and I give him £1 million if it doesn't, but he only has to give me £10 if it does. According to Hamza Miat, that is a good bargain. Yet we all know he will be making a fool of himself with these odds. The second problem with Pascal's wager is that it pretends belief is a choice. No matter how beneficial the belief in God is, if I'm not convinced rationally, I will still not believe. And finally, of course, is the moral problem of adhering to ideologies for the wrong reasons. Avoiding hell is not a good reason to believe in things, especially if the things you believe is an evil political cult like Islam. In fact, the more the risk and the personal loss of doing the right thing is, the more noble is your act. Hello people, this is Socrates Son. Today I have the childish easy task to refute EFDawah's shortcomings. Yes, what I will do in fact, I will only pick their strongest short videos, because most of them are not even worthy to refute. They are just utter nonsense.
Islam is a locked box, but it's locked for a reason. Now, I gave Faith the key to unlock the box, and I give this key to anyone. Atheist, Christian, Kemet, Hebrew, whoever you like. It's very, very simple. Just convince me Muhammad ﷺ isn't who he claimed to be. Convince me Muhammad isn't a messenger of God. Because if you can convince me of that, then that will convince me the Quran is not the word of God. And if you convince me of that, that means that I don't believe Islam is true anymore.
Conviction depends on the strength of the argument and the evidence, but also on the intellectual level and character quality of the individual you are set to convince. It might be a very strong argument with conclusive evidence, but still might not convince you, Hamza Miat. Setting one's conscious state as the objective standard needed to be met to define truth is obviously a fallacy. Okay, guys, I said that I will not address stupid arguments, but...
If you don't have Islam in your life, you're not living the best system of life in this world today. You're not following the best guidance, yeah? Guaranteed you're not.
But I'm doing exactly the same things as...
Really? Do you drink alcohol?
I drink alcohol.
All right.
Okay.
So now, I'm sorry I have to go to the alcohol again, but it's a standard. You are now poisoning yourself, thinking that's good guidance.
Okay. So let's...
Now me,
I have a friend that doesn't drink alcohol.
I don't drink alcohol.
I have a friend who doesn't drink alcohol.
Does he have sex outside of marriage?
What?
Does he have sex?
I don't know that.
All right.
So let's say he didn't. Let's assume.
I'm not going to go through every teaching of Islam. Does he deal in interest? Does he have a credit card? Does he have a debit card? Sorry, does he get mortgages? Does he do loans?
So you're not supposed to...
Does he gamble? No, of course not. Does he gamble? Right.
Interesting.
Well, they're all poisons, aren't they? Interest is poison. Alcohol is poison. Gambling is poison. Sexual immorality is poison.
Yeah, but he's not allowed to have a debit card just because.
No, not debit card, credit card.
First of all, if you ban interest, you essentially ban banks. You are sending, in other words, humanity to the Iron Age. If the Prime Minister of UK comes out tomorrow and says, I ban interest, there will be an economic depression in UK, the likes of which you've never seen in history. You will probably lose your job, Hamza, and you might even starve. We have a real example of Erdogan refusing to increase interest rates in Turkey. Turkey's Erdogan calls interest rates mother of all evil. Lira slides. In Istanbul, Reuters, Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan called for lower interest rates on Friday and described them as the mother of and the father of all evil, triggering a fresh slide in the lira as investors worried about the central bank's ability to rein in high inflation. In other words, Hamza Miat, Erdogan wanted to appease his Islamist constituents, how you say that? His Islamist crowd, idiots like you, in other words, and he was obsessed in not for the interest rates not to go higher, against the advice of all economists. He was stubborn against the advice. He fired two economic ministers, 2 or 3 economic ministers. And the lira kept going down. The lira kept going down. People were losing their money. Now, Hamza, just to understand your stupidity, my friend, your psychotic stupidity and how harmful it is, okay, people in Turkey lost 4/5 of their money. So if you had 10 pounds, even more, okay, Hamza, if you had 10 pounds, now that is costing 1 pound. Now you have 1 pound. Okay, so the idiocy, your obsession with the idiocy in Islamic scriptures harm the world, my friend. Your stupidity harms the world. You are a dangerous idiot, Hamza Miat. Okay, you Islamists are dangerous idiots. There are idiots that are harmless. And then there is you. You Islamists can destroy the world. Your idiocy is in that level.
If you don't have Islam in your life, you're not living the best system of life in this world today. You're not following the best guidance, yeah? Guaranteed you're not.
But I'm doing...
In the decade of ISIS, you think you can make the statement, Islam is the best way of life without any justification. Just because you said so, it is. In the decade of ISIS. Okay, please.
Exactly the same things as...
Really? Do you drink alcohol?
I drink alcohol.
All right.
Okay.
So now, I'm sorry I have to go to the alcohol again, but it's a standard. You are now...
What? What? Alcohol is the standard that defines well-being. Banning alcohol is the standard that defines social and individual well-being. Okay. The ISIS Caliphate banned alcohol. According to you, that was the best social well-being.
Poisoning yourself, thinking that's good guidance.
Okay, so let's...
Now me,
I have a friend that doesn't drink alcohol, and
I don't drink alcohol.
I have a...
Hamza Miat, making an intellectual travesty, overstates the importance on human well-being of things that favor Islam and understates the importance on human well-being of the things that doesn't favor Islam. Islam banning alcohol is the standard of for human well-being. Islam contradicting every single article of the Declaration of Human Rights and implementing a theocratic dictatorship is a side note, according to Hamza. To end this argument about alcohol, although there is harm in abusing alcohol, banning alcohol altogether is a harmful, very bad ruling. Okay, and doesn't make sense. In Hamza's ideal society, pubs, bars, clubs, concerts, and a person wanting to enjoy a beer after work, let's say, or while watching a football match, will be banned. Hamza presents a completely dystopic scenario where religious psychopaths, Puritan cultists, will ban half of human entertainment, including music. And he presents that as the best way of life. Yeah, right, Hamza. Yeah, right, Hamza. If you like this way of life, by the way, go to Afghanistan and you will enjoy it.
I have a friend who doesn't drink alcohol.
Does he have sex outside of marriage?
What?
Does he have sex?
I don't know that.
All right.
So let's say he didn't. Let's assume.
I'm not going to go through every teaching of Islam. Does he deal in interest?
People that are not allowed to have sex. First of all, why are we talking about allowing? Why are we talking about? This is outrageous, my friend. Okay, you are advocating for a dictatorship. The woman and the man guilty of zina for fornication or adultery flog each of them with 100 stripes. Let not compassion move you in their case. In a matter prescribed by Allah, if you believe in Allah and the last day, and let a party of the believers witness their punishment. Firstly, that is not guidance. That is you enforcing to society the psychotic law that people should be flogged for having sex outside marriage. What sane person thinks that's a good law for the modern world? Sex is a basic human need, and adults should be free to have sex without treating them like cattle or children by a psychotic, barbaric cult. Are you seriously suggesting that for a human to exercise a basic biological need, he needs to first engage in some kind of Arab ritual of some nomads in some desert? Are you serious suggesting that? Then I find it amusing that you deny adults having sex if they don't submit to your social order. At the same time, you rape children inside Islamic marriages. You allow polygamy, sex slavery, and, of course, muta. In other words, temporary marriages. If you make a contract for a couple of hours within the Islamic context, in other words, if you make a ritual, then you can engage in prostitution.
People wanting to stick to their customs and their traditions. It always struck me as odd if that reasoning or that excuse comes from a Christian direction. I can better understand maybe a Hindu using that. Christianity, I mean, this is a book, New Testament, where Jesus is questioning the Pharisees, their interpretation of the law. Christians today who just don't want to hear about Islam. No, that's satanic. I don't want to hear that. I mean, think about it. If Jesus's disciples had done that, if they had that mentality with Jesus, well, they would never have become disciples of Jesus. They would have just said, no, we got the Torah. We got what we want. We got what we need. Those Christians who would shut themselves off from even considering Islam, they are being more akin to those Pharisees who told Jesus, no, we have Moses. We have Moses already. What they didn't understand is that Jesus was not there to contradict Moses, but to continue the teachings of Moses. And so in the same way, we are not standing here in opposition to Jesus, but Islam is a completion and a perfection of those teachings that Jesus, peace be upon him, brought.
Following the context of the Bible and clear verses in the Bible, the revelation of God ends with Jesus. Only idiots believe that accepting the Bible someone can get to the idea that revelations continued 6 years after Jesus. That's why Muslims had to claim the Bible corrupted. Isn't that right? And therefore admitting the Quran is not biblical and heretical in light of the Bible. As for the Pharisees, you said, Muslims engage in the strict implementation of religious law, like modern-day Pharisees, rejecting Jesus and how he introduced secular thinking and moral conscience in religious thought, overstating the strict religious law.
Made a meal and threw it up on Sunday. I've got a lot of things to learn. Said I would not believe in one day before my heart starts to burn. So what's the matter with you? Sing me something new. Don't you know the cold and wind, the rain don't know. They only seem to come and go away. Times are hard when things have got no meaning. I've found a key upon the floor. Maybe you and I will not believe in the things we find behind the door. So what's the matter with you? Sing me something new. Don't you know the cold and wind, the rain don't know. They only seem to come and go away. Stand by me, and nobody knows the way it's gonna be. Stand by me, and nobody knows the way it's gonna be. Stand by me, nobody knows the way it's gonna be. Stand by me. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows the way it's gonna be.